It's time to get all set for Sunday, a podcast for busy and distracted Catholics with your hosts, Scott Williams and Jeff Traylor.
When I hear the coffee brewing, I think, what the heck we doing? Because I got barely any sleep last night. As the diaper bag I pack with Hot Wheels dollies and some snacks, I say, oh, pray there'll be a seat in the crime room this time. It's alright, cause I'm all set for Sunday. It's alright, cause I'm all set for. It's alright, cause I'm all set for. It's alright, cause I'm all set for Sunday.
Welcome to All Set for Sunday, a podcast for busy and distracted Catholics to be a little more prepared for Sunday Mass. My name is Scott Williams. My co-host is Jeff Traylor. Hey, Jeff.
Hey, Scott.
How's it going?
Good, man.
Cool.
Yeah. Just, living life.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Got it.
Generic statement.
Kids going back to school?
Yeah. Dropped off our oldest at college. The other two are back in school. Her second year. So, but slightly more traumatic almost. It was when we dropped her off freshman year, it was like we were there for 3 days, right? There was this whole parent orientation and everything. And then you build up to your goodbye or whatever. This one we rolled in, move her in, take her shopping, spend all of my money, go back by, have dinner, and then it's all right, bye. All this it just hit a lot sharper this
Big
time.
old son.
So, but it was great.
Father Dufresne, how are you?
I'm great.
Yeah?
Good to be here.
Back to school?
Hi,
huh?
Mom.
Did your mom drop you off?
I don't think my parents dropped me off for my second year of college. I think I drove myself. Anyway, so school has started at St. Philip Neri.
Did you go to Marian College or Marian University?
Both.
You went to both. You were there during the transition.
I was.
Nice.
Yeah.
Great. I'm a Marian College graduate personally.
I
I
think it was the same school.
I'm not soft like those university
different name.
kids.
I'm not sure what that means.
I don't either. Nobody really knows. That's what I learned is what's the difference? Turns out just what you call yourself. There's no sort of legal designation that says.
I think it's how many different colleges you have.
Yeah, I
So there's,
remember when this all happened that the people were like, "That's what it is," and I remember Dan Elsner doing a whole thing where he was like, "Yeah, it turns out you can just decide to call yourself that. There's no certification out there that says you must do this to be called this. It's just what you title yourself."
Yeah.
So
It's kind of like Indianapolis when the Super Bowl came and they were like, "Oh, we got to figure out how people can walk around with beer around here."
Yep.
And then they were like, "Turns out there's not a law.
yeah.
Y'all can just carry your beers around."
Yeah, there wasn't a law that said you could, but there wasn't one that said you can't. So, yeah.
Fascinating.
Yep.
All right. Well, ready to unload this six-pack?
This was not the
Was that a
banter I was
move-in?
prepared for.
Was that a move-in
Oh,
and
sorry, no,
a
it was a
beer
segue.
and a beer segue?
It was a beer segue.
Oh, I thought it was a moving in, unload, and then
Yeah.
that was good.
I didn't intend to do that part.
Well, good work.
Thank
Either
you.
way.
6 packs of soda.
Soda, Wow. Sorry. All right. Somehow our show continuously just ends up in some sort of quote from a 90s or early 2000s movie. It's always great. Anyway, 22nd Sunday in Ordinary Time.
The last one was Tommy Boy Father.
It was. Yes.
Thanks.
You're the one with the thick candy shell.
Tommy just sold $500,000.
We're talking about Jeremiah, not Tommy. Our first reading comes from 22nd Sunday. Our first reading comes from Jeremiah. So Jeremiah is having a rough time being God's prophet, right? And is kind of going through the ups and downs, and he's being mocked for things. The takeaway, though, is following God doesn't always mean you're going to be popular, doesn't mean you're going to be comfortable. But sometimes faith means speaking and living the truth, even when it would be much easier to be quiet, right? We got to step up, stand out there, speak up, say the words that we're called to. Our responsorial psalm, "My soul is thirsting for you, Lord my God." Banger.
Heard of it.
We're back.
Yeah.
We're back. Full mumbler this weekend. I was traveling and went to a visiting parish. They sang the psalm of or I was visiting a parish. You get it. They sang the psalm of the week. It was full mumbler in the parish. You could just hear it. People were really struggling. It played out just how we had imagined.
Yep.
Our second reading then comes from Romans chapter 12, only 2 verses, chapter 12, 1 and 2. So Paul's telling Christians that their bodies are a living sacrifice, or to offer their bodies as a living sacrifice, holy and pleasing to God, right? So he's telling us that Christianity isn't just this blend into whatever the culture is doing. We need to offer ourselves up and follow Christ in a way that we think, choose, and helps us discern what the will of God is, right? That we need to be offering ourselves to the true will of God. And then our gospel Our gospel comes from Matthew chapter 16, 21 to 27. Jesus began to show his disciples that he must go to Jerusalem and suffer greatly from the elders, chief priests, and the scribes, and be killed on the third day, and on the third day be raised. Then Peter took Jesus aside and began to rebuke him. God forbid, Lord, no such thing shall ever happen to you. He turned and said to Peter, Get behind me, Satan. You're an obstacle to me. You are thinking not as God does, but as human beings do. Then Jesus said to his disciples, Whoever wishes to come to me must deny himself, take up his cross, and follow me. For whoever wishes to save his life will lose it. Whoever loses his life for my sake will find it. What profit would there be for one to gain the whole world and forfeit his life? Or what can one give in exchange for his life? For the Son of Man will come with his angels and his Father's glory, and then he will repay all according to his conduct. Sorry, you got me all distracted giggling there.
Apparently, I've never read this gospel passage before. That was funny. It says, God forbid, Lord.
You forbid you. Did he steal your homily?
Not all the translations have that tautological exclamation in it.
I was thinking it was tautological.
I love tots.
What do you preach on this weekend?
Have you had the steak and shake ones with the beef tallow?
No.
Anyway, so I love this reading from Romans. Do not conform yourselves to this age, but be transformed by the renewal of your mind. And like that, it's lined up with Christ in the gospel saying, take up your cross and follow me, right? He has this intense reaction to Peter, who he's just said, like, you are Peter, and upon this rock I'm going to build my church. And then right after that, he's like, great answer, Peter. And then right after that, it's like, wrong answer, Peter, right?
I also love that Peter then is like pulls him aside. And in my mind, he's like, are you good? Because you just said some pretty extreme stuff there.
And Jesus doubles down.
Yeah.
And so it shows and when I read these words from Romans, I also hear Paul saying them just like forcefully. Like these are central ideas of do not be conformed to this age, but be transformed. And what does that look like? Well, ultimately it looks like the cross, right? And that's a really high calling. It's a really high ideal that Jesus and St. Paul are calling us to reach for. And so I've been thinking about, what is it that helps us to build up to living that call, right? Because if we're called to embrace our cross, how can we do that in little ways? Or if we're called to be transformed spiritually, how can we do that in little ways every single day so that there is this big transformation that takes place? And for the last couple of weeks at St. Philip's, I've been preaching about the importance of prayer.
Are you doing a little trilogy or
a series?
A series?
It's not quite a series, but I did, I think it was 3 weeks ago, I told everybody, I'm starting my second term. I think we talked about this a couple of episodes ago, or last time I was here, maybe. My one goal for the next 6 years at St. Philip's is to increase the number of people who are practicing 15 minutes of mental prayer or meditation every single day. And I had that in the back of my mind, and I was like, I'm not going to tell anyone. I'm just going to try to do it in different ways. And then finally I decided we're just going to tell them what our goal is, because then maybe people will do it. So
yeah, if you put it out there,
yeah.
Hold yourself accountable to it.
There's been an interesting response, and the readings have just really dovetailed well with it. And I think that daily practice of prayer, that's where our minds or our hearts are transformed, right? That daily encounter with the Lord is how we receive the grace that we need to not conform ourselves to this age, but to be transformed. And it also, I love this psalm, as you said, it's a banger, right? But it sounds so exaggerated sometimes to us, like my soul is thirsting for you, my God. But in actuality, that desire for God is the deepest desire of our hearts.
Well, yeah.
Right?
What else would feed the soul, right? Yeah.
And so we are
chimes.
And so was that a harp?
No, it's the chime. Oh. You ever seen somebody really get after the chimes, the full arm pull?
I can't say that I have.
Yeah, you have. You know exactly what I'm referencing.
Anyway, how do we attain that desire for God, which is the transformation that St. Paul's hoping for, right? And that's the thing that sustains us even through the cross. Right? That I desire God so much that I'm willing to embrace this cross or these challenges in my life because I'm pursuing God over everything else. And so prayer, daily prayer, is the thing that builds up that desire, that inflames our desire for God, that helps us to say more and more each day, like, God, you are the one I'm thirsting for. And so it's just another reminder straight from the scriptures that how important intentionally making time for God and spending time with God every single day is. Because, if we say we desire to spend eternity with God, like in the future, we
What's
have
15
to spend
minutes every day?
Yeah, we have to spend time with him right now, right? And that's kind of the direction I'm going to lead. And I think St. Paul talks about sacrifices too, and it's like intentionally embracing little crosses leads us to prepare for our big crosses in life. So like those little mortifications or little sacrifices that you can do. And prayer and penance are very interconnected. So that's almost like a second homily. So I don't know if I'll go that way or if I'll address it in a bulletin letter later or something like that.
Or just next week.
You can just do it
keep
right
the
after the
series
Our
going.
Father.
Oh, do like the 3 sermon mass?
Yes.
Just make a petition, a 5-minute petition about making spiritual sacrifices.
Sometimes you can just do a homily before Mass even begins, and then you can do one at the actual homily time, and there's another opportunity for homily right after the Our Father.
I think there is.
Or a little pre-homily before each reading.
Yeah, there
Call
are
that the
some-
Dearborn County special.
There are some instructions that allow the priest to give brief explanations before the readings. I've experienced that before when I was a deacon.
Yeah.
Not my style. I prefer to use 20 minutes of homily all at once
Yeah.
instead of different.
It's supposed to be 8.
There was a law actually in the Archdiocese of Indianapolis in like the early, it was like 1920s or 1930s, that the homily had to be at least 10 minutes.
Wow.
It's like the drinking beer in public. Like, turns out it's still a rule. Nobody just
I don't know. I'm not saying that's still a rule. I saw an old document with it in there. Because I think during summer, priests would like cut their homilies really short because it was hot because there's no air conditioning.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And you do 2 homilies because of a bilingual Mass, so you get 20.
Occasionally, yeah.
Yeah.
At least.
How have people been responding to this challenge, this
A
goal?
literal call to prayer.
Yeah,
You said interestingly.
Yeah, I've been really. I've not been surprised. I mean, obviously, we believe that people desire God, and the more that people engage that, the more they're going to thirst for Him more. So I'm not surprised, but people are responding really well. Like I've been trying to center my letters in the bulletin around methods of prayer. So I kind of gave some saint quotes about the importance of mental prayer, but then I've shared with people like this is Saint Teresa of Avila's method, this is Saint Alphonsus Liguori's method. So like, because if you give people a structure, oftentimes it just makes it's like here's everything you need all you need to do is set aside 15
These people were
minutes.
pretty good at prayer. Here's what they did. Yeah.
And during
It does make it easier.
But how do you get a method like that and distill it down into 15 minutes?
Well, a lot of times it's just very simple things. Like they'll start, for instance, St. Alphonsus Liguori starts with, 3 brief lines that are, it's kind of like a mini act of contrition and acknowledgement of God's love, and then asking the Holy Spirit to enlighten you. And then you pray like a Hail Mary, asking the Blessed Mother to help you during prayer. They're just very quick hit prayers at the beginning to kind of orient yourself. And then you take up your meditation, whether it's a holy writing or like of the saints or a life of a saint or the scriptures, obviously, and you just meditate on that for a good 12 minutes or so. And then there are some prayers at the conclusion to help you come to, and what he encourages you to do is to express the affections that come up in prayer, the feelings that come up in prayer to the Lord. So like when you're reading a scripture passage and something comes up, whether it's thanksgiving or grief or whatever it is, to express those affections of your heart to the Lord. And then you kind of close by giving thanks and making a resolution at times. So it seems like 15 minutes isn't that long, but for most people, sitting in quiet and not changing gears for 15 minutes feels like an eternity.
Yeah.
Like when you start. So, but yeah, I've done that, and I've kind of been saying from the pulpit, like, okay, who's doing your 15 minutes of prayer every day? and you get like a handful.
People
of,
raising their hands.
Nobody's raised their hands, but you get a handful of people that say yes, and I make mental note of that. No, a handful of people
pen and
that
a piece of paper. Hands up, a little higher. Got it.
I'm just gonna
green
start
cards,
taking
red
attendance, like reading off names. Did you do it? Nope. Okay, no. But it's actually one of the first times I've had a good sense of how effectively am I communicating this, and because it's something very simple, right? It's a binary. I did 15 minutes of prayer every day this week, or I didn't. And there are some people that will look back at me and be like, "What is he talking about?" It's like, okay, so I haven't communicated the message to everybody yet. But you do hear the response of, first of all, people telling me, hey, I really like St. Alphonsus' method this week. I read the bullet, so people are reading the bulletin. So yeah, I've been encouraged by the response.
I mean, we were giving Father Meyer a hard time earlier about his multiple homilies in a mass, but one of the things he's obviously like a extremely good communicator, like no doubt about it.
Yes.
There's no argument that is or isn't the case. But one of the things he always says is like, and I think this comes from like business practices, but you have to communicate something 7 times before it actually sticks. So that means that you need to say it multiple times at a mass. You need to be able to say it in a bulletin. You need to be able to say it in an email. You need to say it like 7 different times before it actually clicks and sets in. And then people will start to develop those habits around that. So I think it's encouraging that one, you made a goal, you made it present to people, but 2, you're reinforcing it and you're bringing it back up. I think that's awesome. Good job.
Thanks. Yeah, it's been, I think it's been inspired by the Holy Spirit. Obviously leading people to prayer is inspired by the Holy Spirit, but also just the way readings have come together and the timing, and I'm excited that people are receptive to it, and hopefully we'll continue to see the fruits as people engage in prayer.
I mean, it is a binary decision. It's a yes or no thing, and you decide whether you want to do it or not. I've been trying to make a habit this year of like, because it's easy for me to make a routine, but when you add something else into the routine, it kind of throws everything off. But when I've been dropping my kids off for school, I've been saying, well, I'm just going to drop them off, and I'm going to circle the building. I'm going to park my car, and I'm going to go inside for 10 minutes. And then I'm going to go and pray inside a church, and that's like a good place to pray because there's not very many distractions. But at that stop sign, I can either turn left or I can turn right. And that's a pretty easy decision of whether I'm going to do it or not. Because if I turn left and just go to work, then I'm going to get distracted by a bunch of other things and kick it down the road. Sometimes I do it, sometimes I don't. But it's better if I just turn right, do it right away.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's the right turn to make.
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome.
Do you have any other
Unless you're going the other direction.
homily
No.
questions?
I don't.
All right, dumb question time.
I'm very afraid.
What? Do not be afraid. I'm with you. Our ongoing question, which you'll probably remember because you do listen, has been we want to hear the stories of like, what are the crazy things you've seen from the sanctuary looking out into the crowd, right? Like we always get the view of the priest in the sanctuary, but there's a lot going on. Yeah. And like the further back you sit, I told you we were traveling this weekend, dropping Isabel off, and went to mass at this beautiful small parish in Michigan.
Visiting parish.
It was a visiting parish, yes. And there was a young girl, a little boy and a little girl who were there with their grandparents sitting right in front of us. And Grandpa he was done with it. And Grandma was in a blender because these kids, like this little girl, she reminded me very much of your daughter, Scott, Hannah, a younger Hannah. She was all over the place and just bebopping around. And I kept thinking, like, at one point was fighting for brother for space, and Grandma picked her up and she just kicked the brother in the head. And this kid just took it because you can just tell this is what this has been like for him. And anyway, I was sitting there seeing this from like the very back of the church, but it just reminded me of this question we've been asking of like, you see everything, like when you're looking out.
A lot.
Especially when you're preaching for 40 minutes at a time. So, no, I'm curious on what are some of the most entertaining things or interesting things you've seen. We've heard a lot of people passing out, people throwing up,
yeah.
But
I don't think I've ever been conscious of someone throwing up. Like it's happened because I found out after.
It was more of a school mass thing that we were hearing. Is like Father Peter said, if you put 300 school children in a church, 4 of them will throw up.
But I think we've talked about the time when Antichrist came to church.
Yes.
So that was a big one. But there was one it was Saturday Vigil Mass, which is in Spanish. And I get up to the front of church. Actually, no, I think the people came in later, as we sometimes do for Spanish Mass. And then so I get up to the pulpit and I'm proclaiming the gospel, and I look toward the back of the church because I typically, like, I'm a look over the people kind of person when I'm up in front of people.
Yeah.
So I'm looking over the people, which puts my eyes at the back pew, and I just see this huge mylar balloon, like,
I'm sorry. Like the silver,
tall,
the shiny ones, like
shiny gold, like 0. And I'm just like, who brought a balloon to Mass? Like, I'm just perplexed by it. And then during the homily, the other half walked in, and it was a 5. So what I didn't know at the time was that it was a parishioner's 50th birthday. And
you're saying the 5 showed up at
like
during the homily.
Yeah.
That's coming late.
So I'm just trying to preach. I'm trying to preach a homily and keep a straight face while I'm looking at these huge balloons. And the problem with balloons in church is that it's going to end up on the ceiling. Like, this is why we don't have balloons in church, because they end up on the ceiling. And
This is why we don't have balloons.
at some point, somebody lost control of the 5. And so by the time that I was, at the part in the Roman canon where it says he lifted his eyes to heaven, like,
Yeah.
to you, O God, his almighty Father. So when I did that, I was looking at a number 5 up against the ceiling of my church.
A giant gold mylar
And
number 5.
Now there's
I
a new
was like-
policy.
Yeah, I was like, I am going to have to figure out how to gracefully not only celebrate Holy Mass with recollection right now, but I'm going to have to figure out how to gracefully deal with this afterward. And it was up there. Those things will hold air for weeks.
And they weigh nothing, yeah.
And so the second week after it went up there, it was like drooping a little bit. And the third week, I was looking at a number 5, like still pegged
so it's not
to the
flat,
ceiling, but it
yeah.
was hanging down. And then the fourth week, it was like suspended in midair. And finally, it came down.
I mean, maybe this sounds crazy, but I feel like there's never been more of a use for a BB gun.
Yeah.
I won't say I didn't consider it.
That's wild.
This is like one of those cardinal hats.
That is.
We just the other day.
So that is one of the craziest things I've ever seen from the altar.
That is a good
You
one.
got the experience for 5 weeks.
Yeah.
Then there was this rosary in my rosary meditation book on the Mystery of the Ascension. It says, it's written by Don DeLindo, the priest that wrote the Surrender Novena. He says, in order to rise, he's talking about humility. In order to rise to heaven, you must be like a balloon. And I'm reading that. It's Sunday, the next day, so I'm reading that.
It was like the next day.
Yeah, the next day I'm praying the glorious mysteries, and I'm still just like, who would bring a balloon to church? Like, why? And I read that. I'm just like, thanks, Lord. Now, every time I see that balloon.
I want to know what they did with the 0.
I think they took it to the party.
Do you still take it to the,
Yeah,
like,
they took it to the
you're
party.
just like, 0.
We had good intentions.
Yeah. Oh, that was a good one, Father. That was good.
I would not have been able to resist to work the word balloon into my homily at some point there.
But it happened after your homily, you said, right?
It went up after the homily.
It went up after.
There were definitely some parish announcements during those 3 weeks about whether or not it's appropriate to have balloons in church. It's not, if anyone's wondering. It's not.
It looked like you guys had just retired a number.
Yeah. Like we've retired the number 5, the letter S, in honor of St. Philip. We're retiring the letter S.
That's great.
Yeah.
All right.
Any other dumb questions, Jeff?
What else is not allowed? I want to hear I want to hear the other things that, like, it's the whole, if nobody wanted to do it, it wouldn't be a law, right? Like, what are the other parish rules, like balloons that
I don't know.
I think glitter is a pretty standard one.
I mean, I could never get people to follow that rule, so I just don't bother making it. No one would ever follow the glitter rule.
Yeah, quinceañeras.
Yeah. You have to use at least a can of glitter on a quinceañera dress, I think.
Okay.
So, no, I don't think we have
Can
any
vestments
other...
have glitter?
Mine don't.
Could they? If they were liturgical colors, could you have
I think you
a
should
full...
ask Father Brockmeyer that question.
Yeah, that's a good call.
Yeah. Sorry, Father.
Like full shiny sequined vestment. I wonder why not.
It's probably been tried.
Great.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think we have any other house rules yet. I think
Just
it's mostly the
balloons.
standard, like no gum, you have to dress modestly. Like,
No Mylar balloons.
no,
the big three.
No balloons.
The big three.
Oh, that's good.
I do love getting out of your car and being like, we shouldn't leave these in the car. We should take them into church so we don't have to come back to the car and get them later. All right. Thank you, Father.
I'm just glad I can laugh about it now.
Yes.
Yeah.
Some levity. Oh, man.
All right.
It's alright, cause I'm all set for. It's alright, cause I'm all set for. It's alright, cause I'm all set for Sunday.